Sharon Chira with Business Time on Times Television. It is a magazine program where we bring you business and economic news stories making headlines. In the program today, firm outline key economic threats. We have a report. And we look at tobacco trading at the Kabwafu satellite market, one of the markets set in a remote area. We have these and other stories. Do stay with us.
Now you can access the Daily Times, Malawi News, and the Sunday Times newspapers anytime, anywhere, by the click of a mouse or a swipe on your smartphone. With eTimes, right on your mobile gadget. Flip through the pages with a swipe or a click. Navigate through all pages and see clear pictures and designs. Access a database of previous papers of the Daily Times, Malawi News, and the Sunday Times. Easy. Subscribe now to eTimes. Go to www.times.mw/e-edition. Sign up and log in. Enter your password and enjoy the newspaper. It's about time.
Hello and welcome. Investment management and advisory firm Nico Asset Managers has outlined key risks still facing the Malawi economy, reiterating that they would disrupt development endeavors if unchecked. The firm, in its April 2019 economic report, has identified high public debt levels, insufficient power supply, persistent weak export base, high population growth rate, political instability, and adverse weather as likely risks facing the economy in the second half of 2019. Details in this report.
These, according to the firm, could have an adverse impact on the economic growth strides for the country. The report says if goes unchecked, high government debt levels would create a future obligation for the government to repay the debt plus interests. Malawi's central government debt stock rose by 177.4 billion kwacha in the fourth quarter of 2018 from 3.1 trillion kwacha in the third quarter to 3.3 trillion kwacha, triggered by an upsurge in both domestic and foreign debt. Economic commentators rated the trend as unsustainable for Malawi's economy, saying the speed at which the public debt is rising will affect economic growth. On other factors, Nico says the persistent weak export base would continue affecting the kwacha's stability against major currencies as import values exceed export values. Nico also says population, now at 17.5 million, has to be checked. The report says high population growth rate may reduce the country's ability to allocate resources to more productive activities. Nico says political instability may also result in industries and companies shutting down, leading to low labor productivity and disruption in revenue generation. This may also lead to a decline in foreign investment, according to the report. Meanwhile, the firm says the outlook remains positive for the economy. Various institutions have projected that the Malawi economy will grow by an average of 4.50% in 2019, 5.18% in 2020, and 5.25% in 2021. It says a good agriculture output, coupled with successful implementation of plans to diversify and expand cash crops, could push the number upwards to 5%.
The quest to build export readiness for potential and existing exporters, create export awareness, and strengthen market linkages, the Malawi Investment and Trade Center, MITC, has unveiled plans to host an exporters seminar early next month. MITC says in a published statement that it has identified key challenges impeding export growth in Malawi. Chimama Mangazi has the whole story.
In a published statement, the MITC has indicated that it has identified key challenges impeding export growth in Malawi, which include lack of expert knowledge in developing export plans, access to finance, poor penetration and management of trade exhibitions, and lack of capacity for sustained production. MITC Public Relations Manager Delibej Mbalu says the seminar, which would be held under the theme promoting diversified, competitive and value-added exports, will strive to build capacity of potential and existing exporters. The training is also intended to equip the exporters with skills in exhibition management and development of export plans.
We have noted that there are some challenges that are hindering the growth of exports in Malawi. Among them including access to finance, lack of knowledge on how best they can package their products for international markets, as well as also maybe lack of expert knowledge in international business as a whole. So we have organized this annual exporter seminar with a name to try to address some of these challenges that our exporters are facing, particularly by imparting to them knowledge that they can utilize for their export business.
MITC, through the Enhanced Integrated Framework project, is building capacity of exporters to enable them to penetrate regional and international markets. The overall goal of the project is to promote sales of value-added products by Malawian non-traditional exporters and their respective production networks of rural producers to the Nakara corridor and also regional and international markets. From Lilongwe, I am Chimwemwe Mangazi.
Remember, this is Business Time on Times Television with me, Sharon Jirwa. It is a magazine program where we bring you major business and economic news stories.
Now you can access the Daily Times, Malawi News, and the Sunday Times newspapers anytime, anywhere, by the click of a mouse or a swipe on your smartphone. With eTimes, right on your mobile gadget. Flip through the pages with a swipe or a click. Navigate through all pages and see clear pictures and designs. Access a database of previous papers of the Daily Times, Malawi News, and the Sunday Times. Easy. Subscribe now to eTimes. Go to www.times.mw/e-edition. Sign up and log in. Enter your password and enjoy the newspaper. It's about time.
A lack of political will in implementing policies has been rated as a major reason farmers continue to be subjected to exploitative middlemen. This follows revelations that farmers are selling produce at low prices than the government set minimum prices, where in some cases maize is being sold at 100 kwacha when the farm gate price is set at 150 kwacha. In this interview, Chimwemwe Mangazi engages the program's manager at the Africa Institute for Corporate Citizenship, AICC, Leonard Jumaza.
We are very much appreciative to the fact that Malawi is an agro-based country, whereby all the resources, I think 80% of it comes from agriculture. So indeed, I should agree with you that 2 months ago, the government of Malawi, through the Minister of Agriculture, did set the farm gate prices with an aim that most of the commodity buyers should adhere to those prices, so that whatever is being bought on the market should be in tandem with what the farm gate prices are all about. We have been moving around in all the districts across the country to see if indeed these farm gate prices have been taken into consideration. It is something very worrisome. For example, the minimum farm gate prices for maize is 150 kwacha per kilogram. Yes. But on average, maize is been bought around 100 kwacha per kilogram, which is not good.
In some cases, we hear it goes down to 80 kwacha.
Yes, in some cases around 80 kwacha, 90 kwacha. So which is very far from what the government anticipated in terms of the minimum farm gate prices. For soya, there is an improvement this year because soya has been pegged at around 280 kwacha per kilogram, but most of the buyers are buying around 250, which is 30 kwacha below the farm gate prices. As for groundnuts is around 450 kwacha, but most of the buyers are buying at 350 kwacha. That's 100 kwacha down the farm gate prices. So as you can see from these commodities that I've highlighted, most of the buyers in Malawi, commodity buyers, are not adhering to what the government did direct that most of the buyers should adhere to. So farm gate prices are not working in Malawi.
We've had this problem for quite some time. I remember last year we even had discussions engaging various stakeholders on the same, but it seemed to be a problem that's not taken care of. There were suggestions that it could have been better if ADMAC would start buying these crops when they've just been harvested. But I remember speaking to ADMAC and NFRI officials, for example, that buy maize.
Yes.
They're saying if they buy now, the maize is not as dry, the moisture content is high.
Yes.
So how best can we deal with this problem? These institutions are not ready to buy, while at the same time the farmer wants to earn something for living at that particular time.
Indeed, the agriculture calendar in Malawi is not in tandem with the budget calendar, because most of these government statutory corporations, ADMAC and NFRI, usually do get their share for purchasing of commodities, maybe where in July, August. So that's 3 months later after the most of the commodities have been harvested. So usually the budget calendar and the agriculture calendar are not in tandem. That's the more reason why most of these statutory corporations are not effective. Apart from that, I think it's now high time that we try to revamp their activities. I think there is need to ensure that these organizations are independent, so that they should be doing their own planning, means of sourcing money for their smooth running of their activities, because these two organizations are very integral in as far as food security issues are concerned. So they need to be detached from government issues, so that their independence should come back, and then planning should be in tandem with their mandate, so that they shouldn't be part and parcel of trying to not to achieve what the government wants to achieve.
Now we take you to Kabwafu tobacco selling point, where on Tuesday sales were disrupted owing to low prices buyers were offering for the leaf. As Feston Malekeza reports, Kabwafu is one of the satellite tobacco markets in this report.
One of the farmers, Deus Nyondo, while optimistic that the prices would pick up, said the farmers share similar fears, thus repaying loans considering the relative low start.
Well, looking at the way the sales have started, farmers have had at least some few reservation regarding to the prices as they expected, looking at the quality of tobacco, although in some cases here and there maybe there would have been some mixtures, but the prices, they were a bit disappointed than expectation. But we don't know, since with the way they feel they can buy, farmers in general, they are looking that it's below their expectation. But we feel if there was improved, because they are minimum set by government, but we expected as a buyer themselves, they should have, they have got their farmers who get loans and all sorts of things like fuel wood and so on. They feel they should have at least impressed them to cover them their toils as such. It involves quite a lot in terms of inputs. So those are on interest, they get loans, which some banks put in interest. So if the prices, they are lower than expected, if it's not beyond the 300 as an average, then definitely they are in water. We expect that since they are trying to negotiate, that will assist them to boost them ahead if they comply to what the farmers are complaining as out of the moment. Quotas, they have been limited. We used to have about 2,000, 1,700, but this year the quotas are 1,450. Just imagine, even if we read the seed packages, they expect around 2,500 or 3,000. So if the quota is that one, a farmer really took care of his tobacco, has gone beyond around 2,000. Where would the rest go? That's another worry that we feel they should consider as farmer, because the quota which has been given in relationship to the prices that they are doing, it means all the tobacco will just service the loan and the farmer will sit himself around. But we consider that if the prices were that better than we used to use, around 4,000 and above, depending on the quality, because I've seen very few, one or two that have gone around $4 and above. So we feel it should be considered if they are reducing the quota, maybe because of the outside sales and so on, that's the thing. But the farmers, they have been limited too much. Most of the tobacco will be left in their sheds. Some have already done, they are giving 18 tags for the sales of tobacco. So in the past we used to say, and the other problem that with the quota as such, it's not really conducive for farmers. It means most of the tobacco will be left in their hands. So we feel maybe they should have reconsidered on the quota, depending on whatever. And the second thing is on tax. Once the tax are through, the supplements, we don't know whether they consider that one. So these are the two things. It is the quota and then the tax.
In his remarks, Auction Holdings Limited, Nzuzu Flows manager Habe Chifungwe said there are no striking differences in prices as compared to those of last year, as the average price was around $2.15, and this year it is hovering on the same.
The tobacco sales started quite well, but the farmers just, while the market progressed, the farmers observed that the prices were not as good. They also observed that the buyer skipped a number of bales. I think it was due with classification. So they talked to TCC to stop the market so that they could have a round-table discussion, of which they had. The chief, the buyers, and the TCC were on a round-table discussion, and they resolved the issues, and then the market resumed, and it has finished successfully. Well, on this market, our expectation is that the market is going to go just as it did last year. Because I could see the prices are not much of a difference from those of 2018 season. Last season, when we were opening, the first day we offered more or less the same amount of bales, and the average price was $2.30 then, on the very first day. And I think today it will be around that as well. So the beginning is all right.
The highest price on the flu-cured Kabwafu market fetched $4.15, and the minimum got 50 cents.
As we proceed with the program, let's now have a look at how the Malawi kwacha is faring against major trading currencies on the foreign exchange market. One of the local furniture business players, DAF Investments, has indicated that it is in talks with a South African-based furniture company called Ashley Furniture to establish a factory in Malawi where its products can be produced. Currently, the company is the only distributor of Ashley Furniture products in Malawi. Shibaba Mangazi caught up with proprietor for DAF Investments, Felix Sambakusi, who begins by explaining his entrepreneurship venture to set up the company.
It's a concept that I borrowed from where I used to work. I used to work in the furniture industry, those companies from South Africa. And the demise of those companies gave me hunger, because I saw a gap in the industry. Yeah, people import goods, import furniture, but I saw to it that there is a gap in the quality. Therefore, I thought of going that way, of filling that gap. Yes.
For how long have you been running this business?
As DAF, it has been there for a number of years, but in this particular industry, furniture industry, particularly importing beds from South Africa, I would say we are now 6 months old.
6 months old.
Yeah.
Okay, so how can you describe the first 6 months of the business?
The first 6 months have been tough. Starting up something which is new. It's new from the one who is operating it, and even new to the masses.
To the customers.
To the customers. So it's like, this person opening a shop, selling beds only. How does he think? But it's something that I borrowed from South Africa. Yeah, because you go to South Africa, there are those companies that are solely into beds. And I thought, no, let me borrow this concept and bring it home.
I was talking about people venturing in entrepreneurship, and we see you have established this shop. How exactly did you go about it? Because the problem that is mentioned most of the times out there is that of capital, and we understand that to establish this business that you're running here, it would require a huge capital. How did you manage to come up with this business in the aspect of capital finance?
All right. First, you have to know that I used to work. I was employed by one of the companies in Malawi. That is for the past 4.5 years. And the area I said that has been there for a number of years. But I was venturing to different business, importing clothes, menswear from China, and supplying it to those who are shop owners in Malawi. Now it grew, and from the savings from where I used to work, where my wife works, those savings plus that small business that we were doing, we managed to grow, and that growth has landed us into this business. Yes.
So you say these products are from South Africa.
Yeah.
Where exactly, and what quality are they? Can you tell us about the products?
These are from South Africa, a company called Ashley. Ashley is one of the big companies in South Africa that exports in Malawi through myself, Zambia.
So you're the only distributor in Malawi?
Sole distributor. There's no one who can import who is in Malawi. It's only me.
With that story, we've come to the end of today's edition of Business Time right here on Times TV. It is a magazine program where we bring you major business and economic news stories making headlines in the country. On behalf of the entire production team, I am Sharon Jira, but always remember, if it doesn't make money, it doesn't make sense. Bye for now.